All right, guys, happy Thursday. We're with our team tonight doing our Live with Liz call again, and I'm excited to have Senior Gold Ambassador Jennifer on
Hi.
Tonight. And we're excited that you've taken some out of your evening, Jennifer, but I'm super excited about this topic. I'm excited about leadership skills and coaching. I believe coaching is one of the most key elements of this business and building relationships with people in general. So I'm excited to hear your twist on things, your spin on things, and your tips and advice. And maybe towards the end we'll have a little Q&A. But I'm excited to hear a little bit more of your story because I don't know all of your story, Jennifer.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to share and just glad to be a part of One Plexus as we all figure out how to do this together and do it well and share these amazing products and take advantage of this amazing business opportunity as well. I've been with the company for 19 months. I sat on the fence for about a year while taking the products and loving the products and having great success on the products and watching 11 of my friends get to the top of this company. And then finally decided to see if this is something that was for me. And as it turns out, I feel 100% fulfilled by my role as not only a team leader, but I feel like a health coach. And I feel like fulfill my God-given purpose in helping people feel better and build dreams, build and achieve dreams. And so a big key to the growth of my business in recent months has been to implement both a training program for my entire team and also a leadership training program for my levels 1s, 2s, and 3s who are all in and want to get to the top with me. And so I'm excited about sharing a few of the things that we've implemented over the course of the last 6 months or so. So I'm just going to dive in.
And
if you're ready for that.
You're right under Melissa Darby, correct?
Yes. So Melissa is my direct upline and dear friend. We go to church together. We live, down the road from each other. We're in discipleship group together. She's one of my dearest friends. So it's pretty fun that I get to work this business with one of my best friends.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just wanted to ask that really quick.
Yeah.
Just dive right in, girl.
Okay. Well, I'm going to sort of share with you what I share with my team, how I train them to become leaders. And so I'm going to just kind of talk to you just like you were on my team, like I was, working with one of my team leaders. And really there are two components to building your business. One is taking care of your direct business and growing it, building it, investing in it. And then number 2, investing in your team and helping them grow. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the fundamentals for both of those things and just what I share with my team. But number 1, my team name is Dare to Dream, and we start every conversation, whether it's a team leader or a brand new ambassador, with how can Plexus help you achieve your dreams? And we want you to dream big. We want you to think about things that you've never thought about before and develop your why. And once you've developed your why and established that, then we go from there. So that's our starting place. But in order to grow your direct business and be an example for your entire team as a leader, these are the things that we talk about that are just fundamentals. You all, I know this is not rocket science. It's not something that we created, but it's something that is absolutely fundamental to build a strong business. And sometimes if it's not somewhere where it's readily available in a concise place and you're reminded of it, your business could kind of be, all these balls in the air. So we put this together to where our leaders would know, okay, so when I'm thinking about my business, this is what I'm doing. When I'm thinking about growing my team, this is what I'm doing. So in order to grow your business, the things that you can control are focusing on your daily mode of operation. We implement the 5-3-1 structure. I know there's several different examples that you could use. For us, we focus on reaching out to 5 new people a day, to following up with 3 people a day, and then training one of your team members a day. And so some of the ways that we do that, I tell my team, be bold, don't be apologetic. This is truly a gift. My very first customer, 19 months ago, is a type 1 diabetic. She's now on my team working on building her business. But she emailed me about a month after taking the products, and she said, Jennifer, thank you for sharing Plexus. This is truly a gift in my life. Okay, we are sharing a gift. We don't have to apologize. We don't have to be shy. We don't have to shy away from asking people if they want to learn more about what we have to offer. So I tell everyone to be bold when they do share. I encourage them to reach out to 100 people in a month as they're starting. And then if they get to a place in their business where they're not growing at the rate they want to, I encourage them to take a month and to focus on that list of 100 again, reaching out. And then also in following up, the fortune is in the follow-up. There have been times where I have, because I wasn't getting a response from someone, maybe put them aside and didn't focus on them. And then they joined someone else's team 3 months, 6 months down the road. There have also been times when I was diligent about following up, and finally that person, the message that I shared with them, hit a chord, or it was the right timing, it was the right place in their life where they joined me. But so I've learned the hard way that you continue to follow up, because that's, it often takes 7 to 11, touch points with someone, sharing different information. And I share with my team, you don't want to just follow up and say, hey, just checking in. Are you ready to talk about Plexus? You follow up with a diamond documentary, a link to a video that might stir emotion in them, or they might connect with. You follow up with a specific testimony that might have something to do with one of their health issues. So you follow up in different ways. Maybe you have a promotion and you say, just wanted to make sure you saw, I'm now, senior gold. My husband is now senior gold. This is how it's changing our life. So you don't want to just follow up. You want to follow up specifically and in different ways to make it interesting and try to catch their attention. And then, of course, training your ambassadors, and to focus on that every single day. And part of that is just investing in them, encouraging them, and helping them set up 3-way calls, helping them, praising them for when they have new customers, posting about them on your team page, posting about their PV, things like that, just to encourage them. So that all comes together to things that as a leader you should be doing and you should be modeling, and then you want to be teaching and training your team to do this as well. The other thing is just income producing activities, and to focus on that. Don't get bogged down with the things that aren't going to count for your business. Try to eliminate the time wasters, maximize your efforts. And then also, I say this in my family and I say this with my team, short-term sacrifice for long-term goal. To be honest, I don't watch a lot of TV. I've cut out a lot of social activities. I really pared down to focus on getting my team to Emerald. That is our goal. That is our long-term goal. And so for the short term, there are things that I have decided to cut out of my life that are, time wasters. So that's something that I share with them. I share the things that I have sacrificed, so that way they know that I'm not asking them to do anything that I'm not doing, and that we are all in this together. Also, I train very specifically on social media. In fact, I'm happy to share the link with you, Elizabeth, but I'm doing a social media training on Monday of next week for my team. And I've done a lot of research on this topic, and I handle it a little bit different than maybe some others do. And so you're welcome to participate in that. I can send you the info. But I train very specifically on how to handle social media, because that is a huge part of our business and building your brand. And that's something that, as in your business, you can specifically control. You can control the message that you're sharing. You can control the brand you're building. You can control how many times you're sharing that message with your audience. And then also expanding your network. A lot of us, have a network when we first start the business, but it doesn't have to stop there. So always look for ways, and that could be joining online groups, joining health groups, joining professional groups, women's groups, networking groups, mommy groups, just whatever your passion is, to really seek out and meet new people. And not throw up plexus, but build a relationship first. But expanding your network has been key for me and for my team in seeing success. Seeking out old friends, seeking out new friends on social media, shared connections, but doing it from the standpoint of building relationships, not with the initial purpose to share plexus immediately with people. And then also being ready to share plexus when you were out and about, and being prepared for that. Just a couple examples. I was at the eye doctor with my son. I've been at the same clinic for 2 years. The woman says, "Jennifer, your hair has gotten so long and it looks so healthy." I could have just said thank you, but instead I used that as an opportunity to say, "Oh, thanks. I've been taking this great new vitamin." And she said, "Well, what is it?" Well, it's plexus. So I took that as an opportunity to share with someone new. I was at the post office mailing samples to someone. Someone behind me tapped me on the shoulder and she said, "Does that stuff really work?" Well, I had a business card ready. I was ready to take her information down, and she became a customer, a woman I met at the post office. But you know what? I had to practice. I really had to practice to get comfortable, because I'm not initially someone that's just going to introduce myself to someone in the post office line. So I had to practice that behind closed doors and really get down my why with plexus and sort of what is plexus, what I call our elevator speech. And so I really took the time to write all that out and practice, so I would be ready if someone were to approach me or a door was open and I had the opportunity to share with someone new. So that's something very intentional that I've done with my business. And this is what I ask my team to do as well. And then the last thing that I'll say about the things that you can control in your business is to get to the events that we have, specifically the opportunity events and the obviously the Plexus corporate sponsored events, whether it's Super Saturday, convention, leaders retreat, or the opportunity event tours that they do. I had been with our company for about a week, as a business builder. And I went to, my sponsor invited me to go to an opportunity event. I went to that event and I happened to see a group of my friends who'd all made it to the top of the company, and it just clicked for me. All of these friends of mine have been successful. They are all six-figure earners. They're all driving a Lexus. They're all, going to Hawaii. Most of them spoke at the event that night, and I thought, if they can do this, I can do this. Had I not gone to that event and seen that in such a tangible way, I might be on a different path right now. So it's important for you to be at events so you can catch that vision. And it's important for you to teach your team to get to events as well, so they can hear those amazing testimonies and feel the passion. I have never been to an event and had an ambassador come with me to where they regretted going or didn't get something out of it. So just keep that in mind. That's why you ask your team and invite your team to come with you. So now let's talk about growing your team. And then I've got some specific things to share about coaching. But we talk a lot about duplication. And in that, we talk about, it's not just that we're asking people to duplicate, but we have coaching calls where we say, okay, Who out of your family, who out of your close friends, who out of your circle of influence needs Plexus? What issues do they have? Let's really strategize and help you build your chicken list of who you want to reach out to. So it's not just something that we just talk about. We really work with them hand in hand and help them through that process. Also, we implement the Silver and 7 challenge. I've got a little baby. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Come here. Come here. Come see Daddy.
So sweet.
Okay, I'm so sorry, y'all. That was my sweet 2-year-old. Okay, so we implement the Silver and 7 challenge with all of our new ambassadors. And so this is something that we do team-wide. Have you heard of the Silver and 7 challenge? Okay, so that's one of our fundamental things about duplication. Also, 3-way calls. I'm not sure if that's something that you all focus on, but it has been absolutely paramount for my team the last 3 months. Just to give you an example of the difference that it's made. So we started implementing 3-way calls in June. I had done a few in the past, but had not made it a part of my, absolute fundamental things that I do with my team. And in June, we had 12 people join. In July, we had 32 people join. In August, we had, I think it was 44 people join. And I helped my team do probably over 30 calls over June and July. And that was the result. 88 people joining our team over the summer because of those calls. Only one of those calls ended with someone saying, I'll think about it. Thank you for the information. All of them were a yes in one way, shape, or form. And so if you haven't heard of third-party validation, I encourage you to Google it. But there's something about having your team member invite their prospect, and that prospect not only hearing from their team member, but hearing from their upline as well, and hearing those health testimonies, hearing how the business has changed their lives, and hearing all the good things about Plexus. It does something different than if you were just sharing one-on-one about Plexus.
Yeah.
So that's something that we focus on 100%. And everyone is bought into, that has made a huge difference in our growth. And then also, for those that are Silver, we have a very purposeful, intentional plan to help them get to their next promotion. So it's not just, how can I help you? It's let's sit down and look at your team. Let's see how many more you need. Let's see where you have the most opportunity for growth, who you can identify to help them promote. So it's a very purposeful, intentional conversation in helping them build their plan on how they're going to get to gold. I also have a specific training on how to get to gold as well. So that's another thing that we do. Another thing that I ask my team to do is to hold events, and really I challenge them to have their team members holding events to where they're at least going to one event a week, whether they're hosting or they're attending to help host. They are going to events weekly during the month. So that's something I encourage ours to do. I just had a coaching call earlier today where I challenged them to have 3 to 4 3-way calls a week. So if you think about it, if you're attending one event a week, you're having 3 to 4 3-way calls a week, think about the growth that you can see. And then if you are asking your team members to do that, think about the ripple effect with duplication. You're teaching them to do that, and then they're going to teach their people to do that, and it'll carry on. And so it's something that we've seen success with. Another thing we talk about is team engagement. Just cultivating a team atmosphere, doing that by having different message threads for your different groups. If you've got a group of people going for silver, putting them together in a group. If you've got a group of people going for gold, putting them together in a group. Also to encouraging just out of your team leaders, encouraging them to increase their engagement on your team page. Most of my team leaders have, they're all admins on my team page. They all make training posts. They all make posts, congratulating, encouraging their team leaders as well. So it's sort of a shared, not only expectation, but it's shared management as well. So it makes it easier on me as the ultimate team leader as well. But also creating team contests and incentives, but then asking them to do it as well. Everything that you do, you want to have them do as well and duplicate. So a lot of our team contests I'll partner with my downline. I'll do $15 bonus here if you can do a $10 bonus here, things like that. So we piggyback a lot, which helps. Also, just talking a lot about things that are offered by corporate, the consistency club, the September 3+3, those things. By really focusing on those, it helps your team come together and sort of think about this whole culture of Plexus and really joining in with our corporate to see success, on that level. And then something that I tell my team over and over is lead like a diamond. If you want to go to the top of this company, you need to lead your team. You need to have a presence on social media and in your network, like you're already there. And so that's something that we talk about in implementing all of these things. These are things that, that a diamond implements on their team. And so the reason why I ask that of them is so they can get to the top faster. We also implemented a brand new ambassador training program. This is all online, and it's through a Facebook page. Now, you all may have seen the Darby Team Start Here page. That's a Facebook group. So ours started because of that. A great idea. We borrowed a lot of their information, but we cover 22 topics through that training. We added some of our own, and we also put it to a 4-week schedule. And part of the schedule is, they've got 7 or so posts to review, which is about 1 a day. We feel like that's a very reasonable thing to ask a new ambassador. It also builds on what we feel like is the most important things to cover as they grow their business and build their knowledge in Plexus as well. It also uses the success kit as well. But here are the topics that we cover, and I'm happy to send you, Elizabeth, any of this as well. But we help them create their answer to what is Plexus, their elevator speech. The next post is on why Plexus, dream big, develop why you are in this business. The Frank's list, utilizing your sponsor for 3-way calls and chats, messaging and meetings, how to talk about Plexus, social media, your income producing activities and your daily mode of operation, setting goals, products one-on-one, handling objections, duplication, just the power of 3, silver and 7, launch events, customer care, compensation plan, back office tutorial, and then we have a post dedicated to just the compliance and the Plexus Way emails. So it's all, in one place. Plexus corporate events and incentives, just so they can learn about the Silver Star trip and the Hawaii trip and the Diamond trip and, convention and what, the amazing perks that we have at our fingertips. Also resources. And this is a topic that's about, who are some great leaders in our company to follow on Facebook, to learn from, who are some great trainings to look at on YouTube, things like that. And then also we end with Dare to Dream, and I asked my upline each to provide a video that talked about what kind of dream that they've been able to achieve because of Plexus, how Plexus was helping them achieve their dreams. And so it's just sort of a way to end our training on an inspiring note. So we implemented that along with a 4-week training. And what we've asked our team leaders to do is, as they get a new ambassador, they start their ambassador off on week 1 saying, these are the topics you're going to cover. And then at the end of that week, they schedule a coaching call on that coaching call, they walk through each of those topics and they role model, they brainstorm, they answer questions, it gives them the opportunity to establish that mentor-mentee relationship, and then to begin coaching their ambassadors to greatness, which is actually my next topic. So we know coaching is all about accountability. It's about not being a boss. I often tell my team, I'm not your boss. You don't have to check in with me. I don't need to know that you're checking off your list. I don't need to know who you're meeting with, but I would love to know the ins and outs of your business, just so I could be a part of it with you and keep you accountable. So that's your role as a coach is not to make sure they're checking off that list, but really just to keep them accountable. So you want to celebrate their big and small successes. You want to provide honest and loving feedback in a very positive way that they, only lends to growth. You want to help build their belief and confidence. You, as their leader, are the number one person in their business that can show them what Plexus could be in their lives. And it's a huge responsibility, but what joy to be able to show someone what the possibilities are for their future. And then also meet them where they are in their business. If they're having a tough time, walk with them through that. If they're stuck, help them get unstuck. If they are frustrated, be in that moment with them. Understand where they're coming from. Part of what makes network marketing so unique is that it's not a one-person show. So you can invest in your team personally and build trust. Follow what is going on in their life, just even on a personal level, reach out to them when something big happens, a kid's birthday, a trip to the emergency room, if they're sick, follow up with them. So you're building that dialogue, that consistent dialogue, but also you're developing a relationship with them. When you see them excelling in an area, ask them to share on your team page. Ask them to lead a training for you. This will empower them to grow as a leader, and it allows you, again, to establish that relationship in their lives that you're their coach, not their boss. So part of the coaching relationship is to set clear expectations. And part of that process is to, we don't get to the top of this company by luck. We don't get to the top of this company by sitting back and watching things happen. It's hard work. It's easy. It's simple. We do a few things, and as long as you do them consistently and do them well and go all in, you will make it to the top of this company. It's only a matter of time. I always tell them it's not if, it's when. So because of that, you've got to set clear expectations. This is what it's going to take. This is me sacrificing for my dreams. What can you sacrifice for your dreams for this short-term process? It's going to take training and development. It's going to take hard work, and it's going to take commitment. And I tell everyone, commitment not to quit. If you just can say, I will not quit, no matter if someone says they're going to join my team and they don't. No matter if someone joins my team and I think it's my dream team, my power partner, my person, and then a month in, they quit. No matter if you are stuck for months or a year at the same promotion like I was. I truly think I am where I am, and I'm going to be where I want to be in the next few months because I decided I was not going to quit. Part of that was pride and part of that was God. But just make that commitment and you will reach your goals and get to the top of this company. The other component of being a coach is creating leaders. Like I said, the part of this business that's so unique is that it's not a one-person show. It doesn't have to all be on your shoulders. You can delegate. And what an amazing opportunity we have as leaders to pour into someone else and help them build their leadership skills. And so here are some of the things that I do with my team to help do that. Number one, I tell them, your level ones are your level ones. You are responsible for them. You're responsible for their training, for their coaching, for building belief into them. And if you can establish a great relationship with them, then it'll show them how to do that for their level ones as well. Because who wants to get to the top of this company and then have levels 1 through 4 rely on you like they're all your level ones? That's not Plexus Freedom, is it? So from the very beginning of working with my team leaders who were all in, I said, I am responsible for you all. You are responsible for yours, and they're responsible for theirs. And if we all lead like that, what we will get at the end of this process, when we're all emeralds or sapphires or diamonds, is a very manageable, enjoyable, thriving business full of leaders who are capable and who are passionate about leading their own teams. So that's something that we've established from the beginning. Also, we talk a lot about, as a team leader, it's your job, and I said this earlier, so I won't go much more on this, but it's your job to build belief, show them what's possible. Share the diamond documentaries, share the stories. When you see your upline say, I had 400 people join last week, share that on your team page. When you see Celeste Gwynn say, I had 55 diamonds in Hawaii, you share that picture on your team page to say, look, this was 3.5 years ago when she started. This is what we have, in our future. So you build belief in our company through that. Also, we talk about coaching versus training. We talk about team culture, developing relationships. We talk a lot about being intentional versus reactional. And one way that we've done that is implementing coaching calls in our business. So if you're having a dedicated time weekly with your team leaders where you are talking about, the issues they might have or the issues that their team leaders have, where you're answering questions, where you're talking strategy, where you're talking about where the potential for growth is in their businesses. If you've got a dedicated time for that weekly, you're going to have less time spent during the week putting out fires and answering texts and, spending your time being reactional versus intentional. So that's something that we talk a lot about. Also, overcoming fears is absolute key for becoming a leader. And asking them, what is it that's holding you back? I just had a coaching call today with one of our new rock stars. And that's something that we talked about was, what's holding you back from doing, X, Y, Z. And so by asking that question on these coaching calls, you can establish it. You can, handle that objection, help them overcome that fear and then move forward. And again, they're growing as a person and growing those leadership skills. Also forming coaching groups. So if you have a group of people going silver, forming a coaching group to show them how to get there. If you have a group of people who want to get to the top, forming a coaching group. So at convention, I had one team member with me. She's currently the person who's the team leader on my team. She has the most points under my team. She was with me. And then while I was at convention, I had several people who reached out to me via text. They were seeing all my posts. They were inspired about all that was shared at convention. And they said, okay, I'm ready. I want to go to the top. I want to go to the top with you. How do I do it? So when I got back from convention, we started an Emerald coaching group. At that first meeting, I showed them a roadmap to Emerald that literally said, okay, in June, by the end of this month, you need to be here points wise. July, you need to be here. August, you need to be here, and on down the road to get them to Emerald. I not only showed them how many points they needed, to achieve that promotion, but what does your team look like underneath you? If you're a Ruby ambassador, how many golds do you need? How many silvers do you need? If you can help your team map it out, visualize, and really understand, okay, like this is not just 300 people I need 5 golds. I need 10 silvers. I need 3 rubies, however it is that you want to plan for it. But if you can give them small, attainable goals, then it helps break down this big, huge goal of 1,500 points and helps it be more manageable. So that's something that I did first thing with my coaching group. Also, by building a coaching group, it helps build relationships among your team for people who might not have ever known each other. It helps create accountability. When I established this group, I told them we're going to have very specific expectations. You're going to have homework at the end of our sessions. You're going to be a part of training and sharing what's on your heart, sharing what's really going on in your world. And I want you all to be, open and honest and transparent in that. And what that did was create this beautiful group of friends and sort of a friendly competition as well. They all want to stay sort of at the same level as they're moving up. And so it really kind of created this beautiful storm of this, a tribe, I call it. They're my tribe. And so it's been a lot of fun. So that has been a huge asset to us in leadership development, because it's a group where I am going over the material I'm going over today and even more intense leadership training. One thing I saw in Plexus was there was a lot of training to figure out how to do this business, right? To learn the products. There's a lot of information out there. But then once I began to be, to manage this huge team, I really had to sit down and think about, okay, how do you do that? How do you get these other people to do what I've done? And all that is leadership development, and it's coaching. And so that's what we kind of arrived at, the material I'm going over now. So by giving your people a roadmap, whether they're going gold, silver, ruby, or they want to go all the way, showing them what that looks like. I actually gave them each for their business a chart that showed, you've got, Sandy here. Sandy needs to get to silver. You've got Mandy here. Mandy needs to get to gold. And so by giving them that chart, it helped them visualize, and it was something that they could put up, in their bathroom or in their closet, something that, helped them be accountable to really working on their business consistently and daily. And then another thing we talk about is just coaching, that one-on-one coaching with their team. And here's how we handle that. We sort of have a different plan for new ambassadors than we have for, their current ambassadors. But, I specifically wrote this out so that way it's turnkey. There's no guesswork for someone who's a new leader that doesn't have management experience and is pretty green in management or team leading. This takes the guesswork out of everything. But first things first, let's add them to the team page. Let's welcome them. Let's help them feel, the excitement of everyone else already on the team. Make a public post, welcome them to the team. Let that be sort of their intro into, okay, their friends and network are going to see this is something new and different. What is Plexus? Add them to the ambassador training page that we have. Send the weekly training graphic to them to guide them to the trainings that they need to focus on for that week. Schedule weekly coaching calls with them where you'll review the training program with them and then walk them through those posts like we've already talked about. Provide dialogue and guidance all, through each step. So talk through, what is Plexus? What do you think about this? What would you say? Let's practice this. Let's role play while we're on the phone. Encourage them to ask questions, and then also, again, this is bullet pointed on everything that I've got. 3-way calls and chats. Schedule those 3-way calls. Help them establish their goals with these weekly calls, and then write them down so that way when you talk to them throughout the week or when you have your next call the following week, you can say, okay, so how did it go with this goal? How did it go with this goal? What were your challenges? What did you think that you did well? Those sort of questions. So then with our current ambassadors, I recommend that you have a monthly projection call. So literally on the first day of the month, that morning, I go through my team. I take a look at where my team leaders ended for the month. How many points did they have? How close are they to their next goal? How many welcome pecks did they have? How many of those points do we think they're going to carry over for the next month? So then I set up a 30-minute coaching call with my team leaders, and then we go through where they ended. We go through, we determine their strengths. We determined their training needs. Okay, who on this team really needs some more training? Who on this team could reach their next promotion? Who on your team could have an event for you this month? So we really try to strategize how to get their team members to their next promotion. So again, this is very, very intentional, very purposeful, and it gives them a plan for the entire month, how to get to their next goal by the end of the month. And so we talk about it and break it down and really look at and strategize on where the greatest potential is on their team, where they should focus their efforts. And then from there, it's setting up weekly coaching calls to where you can build into them. You can encourage them. You can ask them about their goals. You write their responses down so that way you can follow up and help hold them accountable. I literally have a sheet each month where I talk about, okay, so Suzanne is going to have an event. We're going to try to get Susie to silver. We're going to try to do this, X, Y, Z. So I keep that. So that way all through the month, I'm going back to those goals on those weekly coaching calls, and we're talking about that. So then asking them questions, and I learned this through Amy Darling's How to Effectively Coach Your Team. I love this line of questioning, so I want to share it with you all. But compliment them on what you see that they're doing well, whether it be handling themselves on their team page, on your team page, their social media presence or posts, but compliment them. Also, what did you feel, asking them, what do you feel that they did well last week or last month? What do you think you need to improve on? Tell me, what is your goal for this week, for this month? Whether it's personal, whether it's PV, whether it's a team goal, whether it's meeting a corporate incentive, asking them, tell me what it'll look like when you reach that goal. So that way, what does that mean for them? Is it paying off a credit card? Is it taking less shifts at the hospital? Is it getting closer to that promotion and what that means for their family? So that way, what she says is, their hot button, throughout the month to reference later on. Also, what would stop you from reaching that goal? I think this is key because, again, you're finding out, okay, are there any fears here that are holding them back? How can I support you this month? What kind of resources do you need from me? And then also, this is key with your team leaders. Do I have permission to provide honest, open, loving feedback to you if I see something that may harm your business, see something you're doing that may harm your business? And we have that type of relationship. I've told my team as well, if I could do something better, if I could provide more, please, let's have that open relationship where you can share that with me so I can grow as a leader. No one has this worked out, right? We're all doing this together. We're in this together learning, right? So also celebrating their successes on the team page, just public praise goes a long way. So if you see that they've met a goal that they had, tying it back and kind of coming full circle and praising them on the team page about that. Sending them a text to say, way to go. Those things go a long way. Also, by you being very diligent and offering to have a sip and see for them, offering to do three-way calls, offering to do an online event. That is something that I talk about weekly with my team, literally, because those are areas for growth. That is going to help you grow your team and then help them achieve their goals, which is that's why we're doing this, right? Is to help people reach that dream. So I am always talking about that. And then also connecting them to the tools and resources they need to be successful. And I do that on our team page by, we rotate, who posts, but we post training information on the team page. We motivate, we celebrate promotions, we welcome people. But I feel like if there are always tools and resources being presented, they've always got something they can scroll back, to learn from. So that way people are always growing. People are always focused on personal development and growth. And so I feel like by, providing this leadership training, by providing the new ambassador training, by providing this this framework for coaching for my team, I feel like no one can have the excuse that they didn't have the tools or resources to be successful in this business, which is honestly one of my goals. I want this for everyone. Like Tamara, my friend Tamara says, this business is not for the few, it's for the many. And so I, as a team leader, want to provide them with everything they need to be successful. So it can never be that they didn't have the type of leader or the type of upline or the type of sponsor, that could help them be successful. So now we've provided it. So now it's up to them, right? A big, huge piece of this is that they're responsible for their business. I'm not. They're responsible for it. So they've got to take action. But if you can provide the leadership development and the coaching necessary, chances are you're going to have a very successful business and team growth as well. So that ends what I was going to cover, Elizabeth. I hope this is what you were needing.
Yes.
Or envisioning,
yes.
I should say.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Holy cannoli.
I hope I didn't go too much over. I tried to be mindful.
Oh,
Okay.
I love this. Would you mind sharing your 4-week scheduled training?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love that. We've talked about that. We've had some here and there. We've done plenty of coaching and accountability groups, but I think having that set in stone new training for every ambassador to go in, I think is huge. I do have a couple of questions that I was going to ask you. Sure. Your 3-way calls, would you say that one of the biggest keys, because I know that they are super effective. I've had several of them, of course, not as often as I would like to have them. And I always hear it's so hard to get people on them. Would you say that one of the biggest keys to that is being bold with this is what we need to do? And at what point do you really say with a potential, or do you share with your team members, okay, this is the point that you want to throw that in there. This is what we need to do to tell you more information.
Great question, because for a year I felt very awkward about 3-way calls. So I didn't ask for them from my upline and I didn't offer them to my team. It's not something we talked about. But here's how here's how I approach them and here's how my team approaches them. We, through our training, we tell them, when you're messaging a new prospect or someone has reached out to you, you want to give them just enough info about Plexus to sort of dangle a carrot, to sort of, to tease them, give them just enough to get them interested. So we don't send a lot of upfront information when we're either reaching out to potentials or when we're answering information. We go straight to that 3-way call. So how that request, that ask is handled with their prospect is the way I teach my team is to say something like this. Great question. I'm so glad you're interested in learning more. What I would love to do is just find a time for us to talk. And I want to include my upline. She's a dear friend of mine, but she has an amazing health testimony that I would love for you to hear. And I'd like to share mine as well. When are you available? And, we try to make a very specific ask on, are you available tomorrow at noon? Are you available on Monday at 5? So that way it creates a dialogue back and forth. I found if you can suggest a specific time that it opens the door for them to answer back, no, I'm not available, but I can do, this time. And then also for us, my team knows that if I'm not available, we will find someone who's available. no matter how far deep it goes, if their upline's not available, they can call on me. So that way, there's always someone available for the call. But so we don't, we don't ask them out, can I set up a 3-way call with my upline? That's not how we approach it. But it's all about, I just want you to hear her amazing health testimony. And so we take it from that point of view, and have found that, they're often, there's no issue at all setting them up. Now, I will say you have to build belief into your team members to get them to see that it's not awkward, because our 3-way calls are kind of like mini sip and sees. I literally share my health testimony. The team member shares their health testimony. And then I talk about the business. I talk about where I am specifically with my business. I always share Melissa's story with her business, where she's my diamond upline. And then I tell them how Plexus is different, and, of course, the advantages of joining, and, all that good stuff. But so it's very comfortable. It like I said, it always, typically ends with a yes. I'm ready to do this, whether it be I'm ready to, at least get started with the products, and try them, or I'm ready, to share right out of the gate. But that's how we handle it.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that.
Okay, good.
I had another question, I think, but really quick, did anybody else have a question for Jennifer? I'm going to have to listen to this call several times. So much goodness in here. I've taken like 4 pages of notes.
Well, Elizabeth, I'll send you my notes, and I actually have a script for our training page, so I'll send that to you as well. With all, it's all written out. So I'm happy to share all of this with you. So, a lot of it's pulled from different leaders in our company. So, of course there's some things that I brought from I have a 10-year career in nonprofit management and fundraising. So some of it I brought from my experience in fundraising, but the rest of it's all just, things that I learned through various people in our company. So I can't take ownership of it, but I can certainly share it.
Thank you. That's awesome. I would love that.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, I know you all are going to go into some team time, right?
Yes. If everybody wanted to stay on for a few afterwards, yes.
Okay.
But I'll stop the recording.
Okay.
Quit.